Prince Andrew is still in the headlines this morning. Our royal editor, Russell Myers, is here now. Hello, good morning, you. The King is feeling the pressure to squash everything for William's sake. Is that what we are being led to believe at this point?
Well, indeed. Good morning, Christine. Well, this is a scandal that certainly is not going away. And they say, what's the phrase? A week is a long time in politics. This has been going on for over 2 weeks now, this sort of new sphere of Prince Andrew allegations. And I think it's become such a distraction for the royal family. You know, we had the King in the Vatican last week, and there was lots of attempts to try and sort out this business of Prince Andrew moving out of Royal Lodge. And now we have Prince William going to Brazil next week for his Earthshot Prize Awards. It's the 5th instalment of his awards, which have been going around the world, trying to find the best inventions and the best ideas to try and save the planet from climate change or other environmental factors that are going on. And of course, this is such a distraction. Prince William doesn't want to be talking about this. Of course, he's been part of those negotiations to try and get his uncle to get out of Royal Lodge, get out of the headlines, and to stop distracting from the work that the royal family are doing. However, it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. And I think whilst this is all being talked about, whilst it's still on the front pages, you know, this is something that the royal family do not want to have a distraction from all the great work that they are doing.
Yeah, exactly that. Is it true, Russell, though, Prince William is reportedly has given Prince Andrew an ultimatum involving his daughters?
Well, let's clear some things up here, because this is, you know, once there's the rumour mill is out of control, once the headlines are being written and there's lots of people getting involved, then invariably there will be stories that talked about all members of the royal family. However, Emily Maitlis on one of her podcasts, the journalist who did that infamous BBC Newsnight interview, she said that she understood that Prince William had been putting pressure on Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice to try and get Andrew out of Royal Lodge, and that he had threatened them with taking their titles away. How I understand, and Kensington Palace have said that no meeting took place of any sort between William and the girls, and certainly he wouldn't have the powers to do it anyway. That is not his constitutional role. He wouldn't be threatening them with anything to do with their father. Of course, he's invested in Prince Andrew getting out of Royal Lodge, stop making all the headlines himself. But in terms of Prince William, it's very much an advisory role. You know, the King has tried to try and settle this business, and certainly the girls would not be drawn into it. So a bit of unfortunate levelling at Eugenie and Princess Beatrice as well, I think.
Yeah, and now this might be down the list of priorities, but Andrew has also had to give something else up.
Well, he has, and certainly. Well, you say this, but his finances are really in the spotlight at the moment. You know, where is he going to go? Does he have the means to pay for different residences? That's part of the argument for him to leave Royal Lodge. It's become a talking point in the Houses of Parliament, away from the palaces as well. But he's had to give up 2 of his personalised registration numbers. He had 2. He had AY. AYD03 DOY and A2 DOY, and these were put on some of his Bentleys and his Range Rovers. You know, whilst his finances are being discussed, he's had time to buy himself a new £115,000 Range Rover. So I'm sure that the King and other people who are looking at this closely will be very interested to know how he could afford such a lovely car when his living arrangements are being discussed so widely.
Oh goodness, and it's all about optics, isn't it? So as you say, these conversations must be constantly going on behind closed doors. So Sarah Ferguson also making a lot of headlines the past couple of days, Russell, and facing more backlash in many respects.
Well, very much so. You know, part of this relinquishing of titles and Andrew stepping away from his Knight of the Garter title as his Duke of York title was being widely discussed in the palaces and by the public as well. You know, the public are absolutely involved in this, because the level of revulsion about all of these allegations, which we must say that the former Duke of York has said that he vehemently denies all of these allegations, but they affected Sarah Ferguson as well, because she's been made to step back from her Duchess of York title. And while their finances are being widely discussed, it's emerged that Sarah bought a £4.2 million house in Belgravia, and she's since sold that. It did come at a £400,000 loss, but you know, how has she got the sort of financial power to buy that sort of place? Is she demanding somewhere in the royal estate as well, because she does live with Andrew at Royal Lodge at the time? So you know, whilst this all is a sort of this moving of chess pieces of royal residences, I think that the king and the crown estate who manage Royal Lodge will be very, very interested to see why she sold that property and if she's got the means to buy somewhere on her own now.
Yeah, exactly that, Russ. It's all very tricky, and they're just kind of wanting to get on with their engagements, carrying on as normal, getting the spotlight back onto those issues. So, yeah, the sooner it's sort of tidied up, the better. But what a mess for them all. Thank you very much, Russell, as always. We'll catch up soon. Thank you. Hi there. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel, where we upload new videos every single day. You can click here if you're interested in this video, or head to the homepage for some more amazing content.